See, OSPF is a protocol that can support very large network. So this protocol needs a lot of tuning. If we don't do that, what happens? If we don't tune OSPF, what happens? Because it supports large network, more advertisements, more process utilization, more routes to handle. This all makes OSPF a difficult protocol. It will degrade the performance. So, summarization is one of the ways in which you can make OSPF better in a large environment. In a small environment, OSPF can be without summarization, it's okay. When we have many areas, many networks, more updates. Routing table is going to be big. Every now and then there will be changes. So updates will be triggered, LSAs will be flooded. When you do summarization, you limit the number of advertisements. Say for example, if you are summarizing 10 subnets, instead of sending 10 updates, just one update. If any one of the 10 network goes down, update will not be flooded. Only when all 10 network goes down, the update will be flooded. So it reduces the amount of flooding LSAs. When you reduce that, we also reduce the process utilization. Because if you keep sending updates, process will be keep on processing. More process utilization. So, if you want to reduce the process utilization, we need to reduce the number of updates. In order to reduce the number of updates, summarization is the key. Summarization is the solution. You have to summarize. So this chapter is about summarization. You see, we got multiple areas. When a network goes down in an area, see, a network has gone down. Immediately the LSAs are flooded. You see, type 3 LSAs go, which is impacting the entire autonomous system, which is not really good. So in order to minimize this flooding, we have to summarize. That's the benefit of route summarization. Not only the type 3 is reduced, when you do summarization for external network, type 5 LSAs can also be reduced. So the process will be less utilized. So we can save even the processor. Plus, localize the impact of topology change, which I just covered. When a small change happens, it's not going to affect every other area. It is not going to affect other areas. It will only impact local area. Localize the impact of topology change. For that, you should have summarized. We should have summarized the area 1 network. This is the summarization point. Where do you do summarization on OSPF routers? Only on ABR and ASBR. We will do summarization. No other place. Can I do summarization in this router? No. In this router? No. Only on ABR. So for area 2 you summarize here. For area 3 you summarize here. Only on ABR we summarize the routes. That minimizes even the routing table entry. So if I have 10 network, if I summarize and send, these routers, instead of having 10 specific route, it will have only one route. So we reduce the size of the routing table by sending summarized route. So summarization is good. Summarization is important. Minimize the number of routing table entries, localize the impact of topology change, reduce LSA type 3 and type 5. In order to save CPU, we have to do summarization. The benefits of summarization. This is not only applicable for OSPF, these 2 points are applicable for all routing protocol. And even this point, save CPU, is applicable for all routing protocol. Type 3 LSA, type 5 LSA belong to only OSPF, but the rest of the points are applicable for every protocol. So when we speak about summarization, you can use these terminologies, these statements for any routing protocol. Minimize the number of routing table entry, localize the impact of topology change, reduces the LSA type 3, type 5 and saves the CPU. See, type 4 is nowhere related to any networks. Type 4 is what? The router ID of ASBR. So you will not see type 4 any change when you do summarization. Type 3 will be summarized when you do ABR summarization. Type 5 will be summarized when you do ASBR summarization. So depending on where you summarize, the name also varies. The LSA that gets summarized also varies. Listen carefully. When I do summarization for the networks of this area on this router, we call it as ABR summarization. ABR summarization. If there will be another autonomous system connected and there are many networks coming in, and this becomes an ASBR if you do redistribution from this protocol to OSPF. Now in order to reduce the updates of external network 1, 2, 3, 4 networks, you will do summarization on ABR. We call it as ASBR summarization. The commands are not same. ABR summarization command and ASBR summarization command are different. Even though it's the same OSPF, but it's not same because ASBR coming from another area, another autonomous system, whereas the ABR networks are coming from, ABR summarization routes are coming from another area. Area belong to OSPF, another autonomous system is not OSPF or not this OSPF. So ASBR summarization reduces the flooding of type 5 LSA. ABR summarization reduces the type 3 LSA. Is this clear so far? Joseph? Okay. What about Sushil?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Now this is an example, sample for ABR summarization. You see this router area 1 router has got all this network. All this network. If you don't do summarization, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 networks need to be advertised. More advertisement. Plus, the routing table is going to be big with 12 networks. It's going to be big. LSA sent to router C will be more, and the routing table is going to be big. But when you do summarization, these are the options. If you want to summarize from 8 to 15, for example, 8 to 15, how many networks are there? Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, you have 8. If you leave 8, how many are there? Just leave this 172, 16, 8. How many are there? You need to respond. I just counted and said 8. If you reduce this, what will happen? 7. 7. Look at this. I want to summarize starting from this network till next 7. That's why I was asking the question. 7. 255 minus 7 is what? 248. Where you want to summarize? In the third octet. That's why you put 248 in the third octet. This is how you can do summarization. See how easily you can get this 248. 255 minus 7. 248. Now, if you want to summarize starting from 16 to 19, you see 16 is already there. 17, 18, 19, 3. 255 minus 3. 252. See how easy it is to do summarization. You got it? I'll do one lab and show you. I'll do one lab. So ABR summarization is inter-area summarization between the areas. We will be learning ASBR summarization with this command. It is different command, you see. ABR summarization is area ID, range, and then the way that you want to summarize, like this. We do it on ABR. ASBR summarization is for the external routes. External routes, they don't know anything about area, so we use the command summary address. First of all, let us do the ABR summarization. We'll talk about the ASBR summarization later. Let's do a lab on ABR summarization. So, we got this new topology here. Area 500 on the right. Area 1000 on the left. Yep. Area 1000 on the left, area 500 on the right. And we got OSPF, I think up to 6. Down to 6. No? Okay, let me check why 6 is not pinging. Show IP route. Yeah, it should ping. Ping 2222. It will ping now. See, it pings. So what it won't ping is router 1 and 8. 1 and 8 I just added. Router 6 can ping router 2. Then router 2 also can ping router 6 now. Yeah, it pings now. Earlier when I ping, it was not converged. Now it pings. Now let me finish router 6. Show IP interface brief. You see on router 6 this interface is not yet configured 1/0/1, which is newly added now. So interface F0/. The IP address I want to give there in between is 10.16. So it is 10.16.0.6. IP OSPF 1 area 0. See, it's in area 0, so I put area 0. Next. Router 1. I don't think there is a configuration in this. Show IP interface brief. No. So starting from interface loopback, IP OSPF 1 area 0. Next interface F0/0 IP address 10.16.0.1 IP OSPF 1 area 0. Interface F01 IP address 10.18.0.1. What OSPF you tell me? IP OSPF 1 area? What area I should? Sorry, very good, correct. 500. Next. I'm on router 8 now. 8 needs lot of configuration. See? Interface loopback 0. I'll start with 1. IP address 8.8.1.1 255.255.255.0. Interface loopback 2. Loopback 3. Loopback 4. Loopback 5. Loopback 6. Loopback 7. Loopback 8. Loopback 9. Loopback 10. Sorry, it took a lot of time, I know, but it is necessary for us to do this to understand summarization proper. So I did this. It's the last loopback interface. So I'm going to run OSPF like router OSPF 1 network, anything that starts with 8, so that I don't need to go under every interface. Wildcard mask area 500. Interface F00, that I would like to do under the interface level. IP OSPF 1 area 500. No shutdown. Alright. Now what I want to see is a neighbor first. Between R1 and R8, I want to see neighbor. I'm waiting for that. Show IP OSPF neighbor. Show IP OSPF interface brief. Okay, so this is still waiting. Let me try pinging R1. I don't know whether that is properly configured. That's the problem. R1 has got an issue. Show IP interface brief. It's administratively down. Okay, so I'm expecting now neighbor between R8 and R1. Then I'm able to ping. I'm seeing the neighbor. Look at this. Let us go to the left hand side router, router 2. Show IP route. We have lot of 8 networks. We don't want this because this belongs to different area. Why should I learn all these routes? If I have a summary that is enough, I will go to my ABR and ABR will take me to that subnet. It's unnecessary for me to learn all this. It's not necessary for area 0 and area 1000 to know in detail about those subnets. See how much space it takes in the routing table. See how much space it takes in the database. The OSPF database, if you see type 3 LSA, see how much space it has taken. Yeah? So we have to reduce this. Even if you check the routing table, show IP route summary, you can see OSPF inter area 22 routes, in which this out of 22, 16 is from 8 network only. So we can see totally 8,000 bytes used. But I'm going to do after summarization the same command. So let me go and summarize on router 1. Please pay attention. Where do you do summarization on router 1? Why? The network belongs to area 500. Area 500's ABR is router 1. Go to router 1 and say router OSPF 500. Listen, area 500. Don't say area 0. Why I should say area 500? Because these networks belong to area 500. So area 500 range 8.8. Now how you want to summarize? Starting from 1.
So router OSPF 500 not 1.
No, sorry, that is correct. Router, this is different processor. Thank you. Router OSPF 1, area 500, range command. See, I'm saying 8.8. 1.0 and next 255.255. Starting from 1, how many? 16. So you need to subtract 15. 255 minus 15 is what? 240, right? 0. That's it. Wait. I'm saying we need to subtract 15. Inconsistent mask. Okay, let's say instead of 15,
8.8.0.0.
not wildcard mask, sorry. Wait. We need to say there is something called block size. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. 1632, that is how it goes. So /22/20 it says inconsistent. Let me say 242 and see. Yeah. Oh, yeah, is not what it is saying, like, let's say starting from 0, 255.240.0. Yeah, it should start from 0. From 0, next 15, I mean. So, what it is going to do, it's all because of the block size, okay? If you take, 8 bit, two to the power of 0, 1, 2, 4, 8, it goes like that. So I have said 0 to 16 we have, no, 16 we have. I said starting from 0, next 15, it will come up to here. No, it will come up to here. So I have summarized up to this one. This cannot be summarized. It has to be summarized separately. Or you don't summarize it, just one network. It's a block size actually. You cannot have, do you have 16? You will have, if you have 3 bit, it is 4 plus 2 plus 1, 7. If you have 4 bit, it is 15. Do you have 16? No. If it is 5 bit, it's 31. 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, 31. So this is how you can have range. Starting from 0, next to 15. So I should not put 1 here. That's why it was showing error. I should start with 0. Now if you go and check on router 2, which we were checking earlier. In router 2, earlier our routing table was this big, but now it is 3000, almost 3000 reduced. Earlier the inter area was 22. Inter area was 22, but now it is 8. And earlier our database was too big when we checked the summary database. But now you got summarized. Up to 15 is summarized. 16 has not summarized because we said 0 to 15. It is summarized. So the database is also smaller. Check the routing table. The routing table also smaller. For 0 to 15 you got a summary. 16th one it is not summarized. So if you try pinging now, ping 8.8.10.1, it will ping. How? Do you have a route for 10.1? No. I have a summary route for it. Show IP route 8.8.10.1. It shows the summary. It uses the summary route and it sends to this gateway via this interface. Yeah? So it uses a summary. And this is the summary route. So it definitely reduces the size of the routing table, size of the database. Now, if one network goes down from here, let's say 885.51 is going down, will there be any impact here? No, because 5 is not mentioned in the routing table. It won't impact the other area. LSA won't even come. See, this will be removed only if all the networks starting from 8.8.0.0 to 8.8.15.0. That 15 network, if it goes only, then it will shoot a LSA. So summarization is good to reduce the size of the routing table, to reduce the size of the database, to reduce the amount of LSAs. Any question? All right. So